So I think without a doubt, probably the most interesting thing about the upcoming Super Bowl 54, is going to be Patrick Mahomes taking on this San Francisco 49ers defense. You know, the 49ers defense has been one of the better defenses of the year. It's had some performances that were just absolute dominant. And then you also have Patrick Mahomes, who at times looks completely unstoppable. So it really is the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object in some sort of way, and it should be a very interesting game. It should be very fun to see how each team goes about attacking the other team. I think one thing right off the bat is that a lot of people are going to be saying, well, one good thing about the 49ers is they can get pressure with just four guys. But I think on the flip side of that, Mahomes is great under pressure. Like on a play like this, what's going to happen is that it's going to be a cover three zone that Jacksonville is in. And for Kansas City, they're going to have that receiver run that route right there. It should get in the middle of the field in between a safety and linebackers. Hopefully, there'll be a gap in coverage right there that Mahomes can fit the ball through. This isn't anything too fancy, but it is something that Kansas City likes to do a lot, something that a lot of teams like to do, and they're going to try to see if they can figure out a way to make this work. However, after the ball is snapped, there is going to be a lot of pressure that comes right away. The Kansas City offensive line is pretty good. It did not do a great job on this play. I mean, as you see, there's pressure on the edge right there, so Mahomes is going to have to step up into the pocket. But at the same time, there's also pressure right over there. So if he does step up into the pocket, then he could get hit right away. And his receiver is about to get open, but he's not open yet. You need another split second or so for him to get open. So for Mahomes, he's going to have to just get a little bit of extra time to try to make this throw. So what he does is he steps up in the pocket, takes the hit, but throws it at the perfect time, which allows Kansas City to get the first down. He is able to hit Watkins right there. And that's what Mahomes can do. Mahomes, he's not afraid to take a big hit, which is one thing I like about him. And so far, it hasn't been too much of a problem. He has gotten hurt a little bit this year, but especially going into a Super Bowl, you're going to have to take a big hit or two probably. Be okay with that. Mahomes is definitely okay with that. And also, he can just maneuver the pocket very well, and he can make very accurate throws while off balance while getting hit, which is just another thing that makes him great and something that should absolutely be a very big positive benefit going up against San Francisco, who definitely has a good pass rush. One more thing you should know about Kansas City is basically if you're a defense, you just shouldn't play man against them because they just have so many guys who can beat man coverage. They have Tyreek Hill, they have McCole Hardman, they have Travis Kelsey, even Sammy Watkins can beat one-on-one matchups. Damian Williams has proven that he can beat one-on-one matchups. So I mean, there you go. That's five guys right there that can beat one-on-one matchups somewhat consistently. Like on this play, for example, it's going to be a cover one hole that the New England Patriots are in. And again, this is the Patriots, probably the best man coverage team in the NFL during the 2019 season. And Patrick Mahomes has Hardman running that route right there, which absolutely could get open. Good route against this type of coverage, has a cut in it, and it'll be away from the middle of the field. So this is definitely a good route against this situation. And so after the ball is snapped, he does a really good job right here. This is McCole Hardman. Does a really good job of sort of faking as though he's going to be running in, which is a route oftentimes receivers will run. So of course, New England is kind of expecting that. So this way, Mahomes can simply throw it up to the top half of the screen. He's easily able to run over and make the grab, and even makes a safety miss and is able to run into the end zone for a touchdown. Really good play there. And they just have like several guys who can make plays like that, which is what makes them, such a deadly team. That's why they're the Legion of Zoom, because they have just a ton of speed and a ton of great playmakers. Yes, Mahomes does get all the credit. Mahomes is obviously great, but it's not just Mahomes. The entire unit plays really well. Like this one's another one. It's gonna be a cover one blitz right now, so maybe a way to generate a little bit more pressure since Kansas City definitely does a pretty good job of you know not allowing pressure to happen too often. Their line is pretty good at that. What's going to happen is that for Kansas City, they're going to have Travis Kelsey run that route right there, which is just a perfect route against this type of coverage. It has a cut over the middle, and since there's no one covering the middle on this coverage, usually a cut like this is a good angle for Mahomes to try to make this throw, especially when it's Travis Kelsey, who is so good at beating one-on-one matchups. Because watch, as you see when he cuts in, I mean, what can you do if you're a defender? Travis Kelsey isn't just bigger than almost everybody on the field, but he's also faster than just about anybody on the field. He has footwork. I mean, it's one of the reasons why he's been one of, if not the best tight end in the league for quite some time now. There is definitely a window there that Mahomes is able to hit, and they're able to get a first down. And just they have so many guys who can do things like that. So basically, you might be thinking, okay, got it. Don't play man coverage, maybe play some zone. We saw Tennessee do that a little bit, although they also had a lot of three-man rushes, which I didn't totally understand why they went with that idea. But anyways, you could try to do some zone. I think that's smart. But also, there is one way where man coverage can work, like what they did against Minnesota. So, okay, this is going to be a cover one blitz right now that they're going to be running, and for Minnesota, this is now a third down and 9, so they need to get the ball to that yellow line right here. That's going to be Adam Thielen's route, and if this was the Chiefs, if this was Patrick Mahomes, that's probably a route Mahomes would look to throw to. It's a one-on-one matchup deep down the field. That's something that Mahomes would love to throw to, and Cousins might also look in that direction. However, after the ball is snapped, pressure is just going to come so quickly that at this point, Thielen is just not open, so you can't really look in that direction. And really, he's going to have to just take a check down right there, which has a chance of working, but it's just nothing that's going to be crazy. San Francisco is able to make the tackle and get the stop right here. And, again, if that's McCole Hardman, maybe he's able to outrun and get the first down. I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is essentially that because of the pressure, it just limits your options and can make those deep down the field throws that Kansas City loves to run a little bit more difficult. Also has to be mentioned, obviously, Kansas City has a much better offensive line than Minnesota does. They just do. So, you know, that's also a factor that's going to be come in here, and I'll probably make a video breaking down just the defensive line versus the offensive line. This is more of a broad strokes about Mahomes versus the defense as a whole. Again, I got nothing but time to make a ton of videos. We got 2 weeks, so I will be making a lot of videos. But yeah, in terms of just Patrick Mahomes, I do think that if the San Francisco 49ers can get pressure on Mahomes, it could be huge. Getting pressure with four guys is one of those obvious things that everyone who watches football realizes it's a benefit. But I think in a game like this, it could be even more of a benefit than in just a typical game. Like, I know that's kind of like what people always say about Tom Brady. If you can get pressure with four guys, he can have trouble. Well, it's like, well, yeah, same thing with everybody. But I do think that because Kansas City likes to throw the ball deep down the field so frequently, that pressure will actually affect them more than pressure already affects a team. It's already going to affect you no matter what, but I think even more so for Kansas City. I think you get my point. I don't have to keep reiterating myself. Moving on. This one's another good example of what I'm talking about. It's going to be a man coverage play, and if you look at Minnesota, all of their routes are deep down the field. All 5 routes are deep down the field. There is nothing shallow. They're trying to get a touchdown here, basically. It is a third down and 11, so it does make some sense to be trying to push the ball deep down the field. But if you look at what's going on right there, that 49er is just going to completely win his one-on-one matchup before Cousins even has a chance to look downfield to try to hit somebody. So I think that could be a key thing for the 49ers. If they get pressure, this now means that those deep passes will not be able to be converted, and for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, they might have to go with some more shallow passes, some more crossing routes, which, listen, they absolutely can do. We've seen them do a good job of having those methodical drives from time to time. But also, one of the key ways they're able to be effective is by those 60-yard bombs for touchdowns. And if you can take those away with the pressure, well, that could be very interesting, and that could be a huge advantage for San Francisco. And keep in mind, if you're the 49ers, I think this is probably going to be a higher scoring game. So the mindset isn't let's try to shut them out. The mindset is let's try to limit Mahomes as much as possible. And I think they could potentially do that. I definitely do. I also think that it does kind of help the San Francisco 49ers that Richard Sherman, he definitely plays a little bit further deep. He definitely always makes sure that he will occasionally get beat shallow. He'll never get beat deep. That's kind of his mindset, and he doesn't get beat shallow too often either. But I do think that, whether it's Hardman or it's Tyreek Hill, I think that, oftentimes those guys are just so explosively quick that they can run by you even if you're being careful. But I think with Richard Sherman, he should be able to avoid that happening, so I do think that's another advantage in the San Francisco 49ers side of, hey, we have someone who at one point was the best corner in the game, and, he still is one of the best corners in the game, and he's a really smart guy, too. He doesn't get outsmarted too often. He doesn't get beat often either. He's, really good. However, that being said, of course, it's very difficult to bet against Patrick Mahomes. So who really knows? But I think that it should be very interesting to watch. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.